Hello everyone, hi, welcome to our webinar about integration. Integrating dashboards will be the subject of today. Let's start by just saying how easy it can be done, as such that we thought we could just create a webinar where we show it to you step by step with less than a few codes of snippets that can really help you out. So let's get started. If you have any questions, ask afterwards. We can always be there to help you out. Okay, here we go. This is our test environment. This is the same environment that we used previously to set up our webinar about parameters. I think that was live 3 weeks ago. So we're going to work with Brett today. Brett is our sales head of sales, and we want him to see a sales dashboard that he has been working on in Camelayo to just be present within his own application. So if we enter his solution right now, you can see in his own application that there is no platform and there's no dashboard running. It's up to us now to set up the integration as such that he can always see the dashboard when he enters his own tool, when he enters his own platform. Now, how are we going to do it? I created a little bit of a setup of how we're going to what we're going to explain today. So the goal of the webinar is to set up a secure multi-tenant integration of a dashboard in your own app platform. That's the goal of today. How are we going to do it? We're going to be within the snippet. We're going to include a code of snippet within the front end. We're going to do also something in the back end, and you'll see that at the end it will all work. Let's hope so. So let's begin. Going to back to our application and also directly to our Camelayo environment. This is our Camelayo environment. Here is where it all happens. Brett took not a lot of time to create this dashboard, but now he wants to run it within his own application in a secure way. So how is he going to do it? Let's go and let's find out. We have a very as you can see, a very large amount of data also within our developer page. This is the same one. And this is when you go to the integration API and you go to about the integration API, you can find the add dashboard. Add dashboard, as you can see, I'm going to put it here. Add dashboard is the function that we're going to use, this little code, to include really the dashboard within his front end code. Going back, and now we are in the code, in the front end code, and we are going to include it. We're going to set it up by just copy pasting it, doing some fine tuning, like adding the right, voila. And also we need a container. Our container is the one that we created before as a preparation of the webinar. Dashboard container, and also the ID. The dashboard ID can be found when we are going back to our Camelayo environment. Is this one? This is our ID. It can also be found below here, dashboard ID, on the right side below within the settings of the dashboard. So I'm going towards it, right below. When we go back, you're just going to include it. I'm going to save it, and we're directly seeing what the results are. I'm going to reload it, our local environment, going to Brett his profile, and let's hope that it works. So as you can see, you directly get the oops, this dashboard does not exist, or you do not have the permission to access it notification. And that's because we need to set up something else. We need to set up the authorization, and that's why we need also the API key, the API token that we are going to create within our Kumalio environment. So this is the first step. Let's go to the second one. Second one, back to our slides. Second one is setting up the backend. As I stated before, setting up the backend, it's important that we are going to do the request of the authorization key and token within the API of Kumalio. Now, where can you find it? How can you find it? That's where our documentation comes in very handy. I'm going to the documentation, and here you see this is in node.js what we are going to use. These lines of code are setting up, and I'm going to also show you within our backend itself. It's setting up a request, an authorization request that's temporary. It can be 5 minutes, it can be 2 minutes, that's all up to you. And it's only temporary because it is an expiry. For the secureable, in this case, it has the dashboard ID. This is the same ID that we have used before in our front end, and that's also stated here. So these lines are live now, and as you can see, it's a temporary, it will expire only for that secureable, but here above you have the Kumalio API key and the Kumalio token. This is something that's also important because what do we need? We need the connection with the API of Kumalio. When I go back to my Kumalio environment, this is where I am right now, I'm going to show you where you can find more specifically your own and where you can create your own key and token. When you go to profile above on the right, you see over here in the sum up that you have the API token. An API token and a key. A token will only be shown once, and this is the one that we have used. This is the one that we have used within our environment that's running over here. For security reasons, we are not showing it. That's something that's also for you guys that you can use. So the key and the token will only be shown within our backend. That makes it so secure, which means that you are really able to set it up, that there are no parts of data missing or that have the risk to be shown publicly. As such, so what's also really cool when I go back is, or that's also part of it, you have here it is, the result, the return, it gives back a status 200, and this one we'll need later on. Now we included this one as well, and we're going back to our environment. I'm going to reload it. Setting up the right one, and you still get the oops, this dashboard does not exist, or you do not have the permission to access it notification. And that's why it has a reason. The reason is because there is no connection between our front end and our back end. This has to go through our API, and that's why we need the authorization key and token authorization. There's a big difference between API key and token and authorization key and token, and our authorization key and token will also be loaded or will also be somewhere within our front end. So let's see how you need to set it up. I'm going to use a snippet of code that I've been using earlier on, as such that it is handy and as such that it helps me out. So let's see. This is our front end. We created this one. I'm going to delete it because now I'm going to load the full, and the one over here, when I'm going back to my documentation, as you can see, you also have here the ones, oh I'm sorry, I'm mistaken. Here you have the add dashboard where you have the key and token also, and it's the authorization key and the authorization token. Going back to our environment, and I'm going to copy paste it from another, but for each line I'll explain what it does. As you can see, I'm going to also save it. It's open, and it is for the this is a location, okay. The ready state, and it's only visible when he's receiving the status 200. This is the same status that we have or that we are using over here when we are creating our JSON. What it does as well is it parses it as such that it's interactive and as such that it can be used within the dashboard. The Camelayo at dashboard, this is identically the same as we did before, but we added as well the key and the token. The key and the token, as you can see, is something that can be used, is something that's necessary to make it running. When you add everything, you'll see that it is necessary to add this response ID response token, which is the same name as the authorization key and authorization token, because it needs each other to make it work. And when we are now going to our environment, I'm going to reload it, and let's hope that it's reloading it for the last time, because we set it up in our backend, we set it up in our front end, and now let's hope that it's loading. Et voila. Now you can see that the dashboard itself has been loaded. It's not a public dashboard because the data is vulnerable, so we do not want that someone can see it. It's not something that you can also that is something that they need to search, or it's quite difficult. When you look at the code, you only need to add 2 times less than 15 lines of code within your front end and your back end, and it's all running. As you can see over here, the back end, the front end. Now, if Brad is not happy because it's not including something, he can make changes. He can make changes within his Camelayo environment over here. This is the dashboard. He can add, never know, you can add some numbers, or you can add an area chart instead of, and quite easy, it's up to him now to adjust everything, or you can make it even group by. You only want to see the volume and you want to see it for each week. Great. Now, as you see, everything, let's not call it the most readable, but okay, we're going to use it now. It's just to adjust and to show you that when we are going back to our environment, we're going to reload it, so we just need to log in, log off. It is already there. The area chart is live, which means that all the changes, everything that can be fine-tuned, is live directly into your own application. When we are going back to our slides, you see that the snippet of including snippet in the front end, also including the authorization key and token. This is the steps in the front end, and this one is the back end. Fine-tuning the dashboard included it as well, because within our Camelayo environment, within our Camelayo dashboard editor, we have a lot of different styles, lots of different fonts. I think more than 200 different fonts that are over here that can be used to really fine-tune your dashboard as such that it is part of your own of your own product, as such that the clients who are using it or the people that are using it can see it and can use it, and that it has the same feeling as your own product as well. So going back, as you can see, everything I'm logging out now. It's not that hard. It's not something that you need lots of experience of, but it's something that you just need to take 5 or 10 minutes to look into it and to fine-tune everything. Coming back to the fine-tuning of the dashboard, we have a webinar about it as well, so go check it out. If you've not done it, it can really help you out finding those little details who are very cool. But okay, guys, I think that was all for today. Hope you learned something. Hope it was quite clear also for you where you have to put every snippet of code that can later on be used. Only thing, little remark, is that you just need to know that when you're adding a dashboard, use the same dashboard ID in your front end as in your back end. We have done that. I think everything is smooth, everything works, and it can be really of help when you're setting up some things or when you want to change it. Okay, thanks. If you have any questions, you can always mail us via support@kumo.io. You can always call us as well. We're there to help you out. Thanks and have a nice day. Bye.